Anti-dumps machine. Part 1. Interest level. Before the posts of anti-dumps slip away forever, there ought to be a recollection of what he said. The length of these posts is to provide a summary and quotes of anti-dumps machine. Quote, "You follow the same procedure time and time again with all women. This will almost guarantee you success in finding an interested woman because it is like having a love machine. Just push a button and there she is. Well, there's more work than that, but you get the picture. You are now on the road to the one." This is Anti-Dump's machine. Anti-Dump was interested in filtering out non-interested chicks and finding the one he wanted. This is why Anti-Dump was not Doc Love. Doc Love was interested in boosting a female's interest level through using challenge and such. Anti-Dump wasn't interested in boosting a woman's interest levels. He only wanted a chick for himself. His machine was not to make women interested, it was to separate the wheat from the chaff. Anti-Dump's machine is not everything. You must still build yourself up and create a life. Anti-Dump's machine is a good system to find an interested chick and keep her for an LTR and eventually marriage. For example, if a girl goes back to her ex, most guys think the chick is broken. Anti-Dump would see it as a dump. But does the guy see it as a dump? No, his vanity is in the way. He and the other guys just conclude the women are broken or mad. If this guy had used Anti-Dump's machine, he would have never had been in such a situation. In other words, girls are not crazy. You just weren't man enough for her. Quote, "How do I measure success with women? That's easy. Interest level. I only date women who are interested in me. I think I'm very successful because I do not have women who aren't interested around me." Most guys get a girlfriend and get that stupid smug look on their face. I got a girlfriend. But does she like you or is she really just bored? Anyone can get women. Remember, even AFCs can get women. Pleasing them cannot be the barometer of success. Pleasing yourself is what you want. This also applies to the urban breed, who get together with their friends and tell how many chicks they've scored, just like chirpy chicks telling each other how much they've gotten from a guy. When we play this game, we just go in a circle, boosting nothing in our lives but vanity. Quote, "I am successful because I don't have women in my life that don't love me. It is not a negative attitude, it is a weeding out process. I weed out unsuitable women. What's unsuitable? Low interest. Why is she with me if she rejects almost all of my date suggestions? Low interest. Why is she with me when after 3 years she never once said, 'How are you?' Low interest. Why is she with me when we are engaged to be married in 4 weeks and I hear her say to her girlfriend while on the phone, 'Men, they're just not worth it,' in a serious voice? Low interest." These are actual, real women that I've dated, and I didn't even mention my ex-wife. She wasn't the engaged girl above. Guys, they don't love you, so dump them. You know it's true, but you hang in there year after year pretending it's really there. But it isn't. She just doesn't treat you right. You, Vasago, and Delvar can laugh at my stuff and anybody else, but I guarantee you will meet a woman who loves you and not one that doesn't. Anti-dump and interest level. If you asked Anti-dump, "What ought I to do to please the women?" he would reply, "What? Pleasing the women? Stop looking from the perspective of the women and start looking at what pleases you." This is where most guys get Anti-dump wrong. These guys, speech seductionists, etc., keep trying to create romantic interest. I will give the women a chance to get to know me. Anti-dump isn't creating interest because it has to already be there. This confuses many. Let us say a cool guy uses Anti-dump's machine. He finds a girl that loves him. Now let us say that a bum on the street uses Anti-dump's machine. He finds no girl that loves him. See? His machine doesn't work. Fools! You are placing the success on obtaining women, not on obtaining interested women. It is not a black and white world of success equals having women and failure equals staying single. No, it is success equals not being attached to uninterested women and failure equals being attached to uninterested women. Being in an unhappy marriage is worse than being single. In both the cool guy and the bum examples, Anti-dump's machine worked. The machine is not to get you a woman, its purpose is to weed out uninterested women. If you are the street bum, no woman will be interested in you. The machine is not the failure, the man is. Now if the street bum recreated himself and became cool guy, the machine will throw up an interested woman eventually. It is that simple. Quote, "Women should be interested in you, not what you are doing. When a woman changes the date, it is a red flag. Think about it. She is negotiating a simple date. What other demands is she going to insist on in the future? I was once engaged to a girl that turned down 10-second date ideas. I swear to God. She was one of the most inflexible girls I ever had a relationship with. We were going to be married and she refused to spend Sundays anywhere but at her mother's house. No exceptions. And she hated Boston. I love Boston. My second date idea should have been Boston. Then I would have gotten rid of her then and not later. You tell her, I was looking forward to playing pool with you. I'll give you another buzz sometime. You pick the dates you want at first. She needs to like your style. Quote, call a week later with a different date, not the one she said. Remember, you are testing for high interest. If she doesn't accept the second one, throw her number away. I would say for the second turn down, wow, we seem to be as different as night and day. Listen, maybe I'll see you around town. Goodbye. The first date should be accepted, and the second and third as well. After that, you can compromise. Another way is the counteroffer. Ron, let's go skydiving. I'll pick you up at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Miss Inflexible. Oh God, I could never jump out of a plane. How about a simple dinner? Ron, sorry, but I just lost 10 pounds. How about jet skiing? The counteroffer. My uncle will let me use his jet ski. I'll be over at 3 p.m. Miss Inflexible. I'm afraid of falling off the darn thing. Ron, maybe down the road we can get together. I gotta go. Click. The whole point is that if she accepts your first 3 dates, she's going to be a flexible partner down the road. Women that feel every date has to be mutual are bad news in my book. I called one girl years ago for a movie date. She said, I have to be in the mood for a movie. Today, Auntie Dump would say, listen, I'll call you back when you're in the mood. Like never. Stand your ground. It shows you are not desperate and that you are a man. You have backbone. It weeds out the ones that just want to use you for a good time, or are going with you because they are bored. You must be the focus. Exactly, you are the focus, not the girl. She needs to like who you are, not you to mold yourself to her pleasures. You guys are not creating interest, you are just deceiving yourself. Why do people deceive themselves? Because it flatters the ego. Quote, for a strategy to work, one of the sexes can't be using a strategy. Read this again. One side has to be defenseless for the strategy side to win. Read this also again. A man who is a nice guy will call a woman repeatedly because in the rules, she won't return a man's call. In other words, the guy has to beg for a date. Real men don't beg. Begging is impossible with my strategy because of the 2-call limit. You are not defenseless. If the male and the female are both using a strategy, like in chess, you have a stalemate. Both of you lose the game. The answer is simple. Date only women who have no plan. Here's the great part. Women dislike strategies. As soon as they meet a guy they have high interest in, they are the first to break the rules. This is why you should never make an exception. The women will be the first to compromise. A little. Women who won't let the man lead, at first, are scared of being women. You need to avoid them. Quote, almost every guy on the planet shows excessive attention to a woman. This goes on day after day, year after year. Women are bored with it. They've heard the compliments a million times. You believe a myth. You believe a woman doesn't get enough attention. You believe she's starved for attention. This is not so. Every day some guy is asking her to get together sometime. Every day some guy is asking for the number. Every day some guy is telling her how beautiful she is. When you show women initial interest like you said above, she begins to lose interest. Your theory would work if nobody was approaching these women day after day. Then her interest would suddenly increase, but instead it decreases when you tell them how fine she looks and talks. She's bored by attention. So, in effect, there can be no cycle. Attention kills the deal. It might work on an unattractive lady, I'll give you that. But on attractive to beautiful, I say it backfires. It is as if the dog women want to be treated like beauties with flowers and chocolates, while the beautiful women want to be treated like dogs, mistreated, hurt, kicked. Stop being sappy, not because it won't get you the hot chicks, but because it is so disrespectful to yourself. You start awarding flowers to women who have not earned them. Quote, the DJ way is not trickery, just like you said. You see this so clearly. It's uncommon common sense. Sure, you could use it to create high interest and screw the girl, then drop her the next day, but this is unlikely. Guys that use these methods are interested in love, not just sex. We don't have a short attention span, except in an uninterested woman. It's funny Delvar should say that the DJ way is immoral. If a girl's not interested in us, we don't get sex first like he does, then later drop the girl. We drop the girl before any sex. It's immoral for guys to be played as suckers. That's immoral. It's immoral for guys to be used so the ladies can get gifts and free concerts from guys that they just don't care about. I would also add sex and boy toys. Yes, women do use guys as sex toys. You want to stay away from such chicks because it's impossible to have a healthy relationship with them. Women ought to be giving, not taking. To sum up, quote, even Kobe got it. He said after a while, You peel off the AD cover. That's exactly it. Dating is like buying an expensive piece of real estate. You have to know what you are doing. You have to be careful or you might get stuck with swampland. Anti-dumps machine. Part 2. More interest level. Let us say you set up a date, and the woman does not like your date idea. Heavens no, what should we say to her, anti-dump? It doesn't matter what you say, you will never speak to her again. Okay, I say, I'm sorry, not interested, take care, and then I hang up. Anytime a woman wants to change your initial approach, just counter with, I'm not interested, then counteroffer. You, let's do dinner Saturday. Her, I feel like bowling. You, I'm not interested in bowling, let's do pool. Remember, this is only for this first and second date, and it's a test of interest to see if she follows your lead the second time. If she doesn't follow the lead with the second request, say, listen, let's do this another time, take care. Then don't call her back. She is too inflexible to date. But what if she asks, sure, I'd like to go, but could you call me that day a few hours before to confirm, and the variances to that? Don Steele, the author of several dating books, decided to answer this. Quote, say, maybe we should get together some other time instead when you're able to be more sure of your schedule. Because if you let her do that, she's playing you, taking you for granted, and looking for a way to blow you off at the last minute. And that sucks. Been there, done that. However, I see what she did as a test of the steel content of your balls. Women have to find out if you are a boy or a man capable of protecting and providing. If you are a boy, she is immediately not interested in sending her DNA into the future with you. I teach and preach that men have to accept that female will test them. Don't assume she's a game player or taking you for granted. Assume that she is interested and therefore she is testing to see if you are worthy. Boys ain't, men might be. There will be more tests and after that, still more tests. James Bond comments with the following. Quote, speaking for myself, I never had a problem with confirmation calls. I used to do it all the time. But it was always me who said that I would call about a day or so ahead of time to make certain things were still on. It was my own little test. If they acted even a least bit half-hearted or wanted to back out, then I dropped them like a bad habit and never gave them a second thought again. Only once did I excuse a chick for not being able to show. She had to go to the hospital because of an attack of appendicitis. Things do happen. I can't tell you the number of times some broads would call me again and again trying to set something back up after I felt they burned me, but they all got the same response. Click. I think a confirmation call can be reasonable within limits that you yourself set. But don't ever break rule number 1. Never, never, never kiss a woman's ass. Now let us observe a conversation between Anti-Dump and the nice guy. The nice guy cannot understand why his girlfriend, who he thought to be a good girl, and all, went back to her ex. For your reading pleasure, italics will be the nice guy while Anti-Dump will be in the quotes. Quote, the only thing you are reckless about is your manly pride. You have been dumped and you don't see it. Now he wants her back and she has decided to give it one more try. Quote, that, my friend, is a dump. You are out of her romantic life forever. When a woman goes back to her boyfriend, she has decided that you are not for her. She has tasted your flavor and has low interest romantically for you. It's low. She could come back, but she will break up with you again, because romantically it's low. Which I kind of understand. Only confused, clueless, no-balls nice guys understand a girl dumping him and going back with an ex. You came to the right place. We'll make a Don Juan out of you yet. The problem is she still likes me, but wants us to be friends. Yeah, she likes you a little. Not good enough for a Don Juan. She has to be crazy about you. She has to want to marry you. In short, she has to have high interest. I'm wondering if he came back on the scene because he suddenly realized that he wasn't the only one that could have her. Quote, doesn't matter. When she said I've decided to go back to him, she revealed her low interest in you. It wasn't an easy decision for her, crying about it, etc. Quote, this is where the nice guys totally fail. It was easy for her to dump you. She has 10 times the romantic feelings for her ex than you. That was easy. The hard part was hurting you. She knows she cares a little for you. She knows she started something she can never finish. She didn't cry for you. She is not torn between you and the ex. She cried because she is dumping you. You nice guys need a lot of work. Remember, I used to be in your shoes. My question is, how do I get her to realize that he will just fuck her around? Quote, why do you care? She will never be your girlfriend. Once a woman leaves you, you are out of romantically forever. No chance. Or how do I get out of this friend shit? Quote, impossible. It's over, friend. She's giving you false hope. Remember, she will dump you again if you get back, because of the low interest. She even told me the other day I was making her horny. Quote, she is horny because her ex isn't around to please her. If she wanted it from you, she would have ripped your clothes off. 6 months is a long time to wait, yet she didn't ask you to bang her. Very bad sign. She is confused, but what can I do? Quote, she is not confused. Nice guy's got it all wrong. She wants her ex and not you. That is confused? Not. Do I ignore her totally, which will be pretty hard and lose her friendship, or keep up the innuendo, etc., and hope that she may come back? Quote, turn her into a friend, but get out there and start asking for numbers. Don't let her give you false hope again. Don't get sucked back in. Date others. Does this sound familiar? Perhaps this has happened to you. The girl was just stringing him along to make her ex jealous. Yes, women do use guys like this. Now, why do we men have such a hard time dealing with female interest? It is because we overthink things. Pook says, quote, okay guys, Antidump said this off the cuff like in one of his posts, and I thought it needed to be painted in the sky so that we could all look up and remember this. Please stop looking for a green light to move ahead. Never look for signs of her liking you. You will never get into a woman's head. Don't even try. Stop trying to read women. It is a waste of time. Ask her out. Then you will know for sure her actions are something you can get a handle on. A smile and a friendly look is all you need to make your approach. You ask me if this is really true? Look, learn from my mistakes. In the past, I had girls that really liked me for ages before I had the guts to ask them out. Their response was over the moon when I finally did. I had absolutely no idea that so many girls actually liked me. Yes, in that warm and gooey wet kind of way. I was clueless, but not anymore. Antidump adds, quote, as Pook said in his very first post, stop overthinking things. Men are not women. Take off the dress, guys. It is women that wonder if a guy likes them before anything happens. Men have somehow picked up this bad habit from women. The thought of whether she likes you should never cross your mind. It is not important before you ask for the number. The important thing is you wanting her. Always ask yourself, do I want this one? And the answer should be, wow, boy, do I! That is all you need to know. Real men take what they want and ask questions later. Antidump's Machine. Part 3, you buy a relationship, not build one. Antidump says that guys who go into relationships with no guidelines of what they want end up with the girl doing things the guy didn't want. You do not build a relationship, you buy one. Quote, you buy a relationship, not build one. It means when you first meet a woman, she has to already have the potential for being a partner. Take computers. You could build one yourself. I saw them. They're called kits. Very, very few people have the desire and patience to build their own computer. But that's what most guys try to do in relationships. They try to build a relationship with talk and kindness and gifts and flowers. All the while, the woman is not the sort of woman who should be in a relationship. A woman who is not relationship worthy will think nothing of dating you. She thinks she has every right to, even though she is demented. When you buy a car, you do not try to put a different transmission into it. You don't put Bigfoot tires on it either. You buy it the way you want it to be. If it's not right, you don't buy it at all. If your girlfriend is not acting like you think she should be, it's because you didn't buy a relationship. You thought you were smarter than the Don Juan who chose the right one in the first place. My brother was looking for a wife, a woman he could settle down with. He started to pick and choose the women he wanted. With them, he would practically interview them. Was she right for me? He wondered, rather than thinking, am I good enough for her? He even gave out specifications on what he wanted in the relationship. For example, he specified how often he expected sex, at least twice a week, he said, and she agreed. Later he told me, maybe I could have pushed her 3 times a week. Haha. What this shows is how he bought the relationship. He put down certain things he expected, was even candid and upfront about them. A guy with no guidelines of what he wants ends up being dumped and burned. Quote, love is not like a courtroom. Women are all guilty of non-interest until they prove it to you by showing consistently good behavior. Otherwise, you do not connect. No excuses, no cancellations, no runarounds, no I'm not ready for a relationship, no give me time. Love the way you want it or they must be weeded out. Love the way you want it. Sounds great, huh? Get used to it, Don Juan. Grow a backbone today. It's no to bringing a friend along on the date. It's no to rude behavior. It's no to, I have to check my schedule. It's no to give me your number. You lead, they must follow. For a few months, then you can get mutual if you choose. That's if you choose. Protect the only part of your body that loves you, your heart. Relapse responded to this with his story. It is long but very crystallizing. It makes the point I've been trying to hammer for years. Quote, funny you should make a post like this today, AD. I was thinking of posting a personal testimonial, and what you've stated relates to that. Synchronicity everywhere I look some days. A while back, I posted about my fiance breaking our engagement. That was 4 months ago. We're talking now, trying to be friends. That may make some of you pissed at me, but she's the first girl I had sex with, and it is important to me that I keep on good terms with her. Enough said. But besides that, I'm getting decent feedback now on what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong, from someone who knew me very well, and probably too well. That in itself is very valuable. What she has told me is that, in the beginning of our relationship, she wasn't sure if I even wanted a girlfriend. She said I seemed cold, which could be interpreted as seeming distant or mysterious in some ways. At that time in my life, I was doing karate, doing great in school, doing very well in dealing with some personal issues, and I guess I radiated confidence. As time went on in our relationship, I became less secure and less confident. In the end, she broke my heart. She fucked up, but I also allowed myself to be hurt. I wasn't protective enough of my heart. He didn't protect his heart. This is a reason why you can do all the right things in attracting the women, but still lose. Critics on Antidump that he didn't focus on the attracting part totally missed the point Antidump was making. Anyone can attract women. I was attracting women even when I was a nice guy. You can attract women all day, but still get nowhere. You must filter them out. As long as I've been on the forums, I haven't seen anyone make the same points Antidump did. Now listen to what Relapse says next. Quote, "We were close throughout most of our relationship, except at the end, of course. All along we had sex, but you know what? In the beginning, when she thought I was somewhat cold and didn't want a girlfriend, we had a lot of sex. We talked and shared, of course, and that felt good, but we had sex a lot. I got back rubs a lot. She was a lot warmer to me in the beginning when she thought she had to work to keep me. I got more of what I wanted when she wasn't sure if I was interested or not. When she found out she had me no matter what, that seems to be about the time that things went downhill. Now that I'm talking with her again, and hearing what she was feeling and thinking throughout the course of our relationship, she held back quite a bit. I'm realizing that a surprising amount of what I read here about women is true. It doesn't matter how special she is, or how much she loves you. She is still a woman, and women have to have certain things in a man to remain interested in them." Now read the following very carefully. Quote, "So I guess the moral of the story is this. Be confident. Be satisfied with yourself. Be patient. Wait for what you want. Be independent, not desperate. Keep improving yourself. Keep growing. Keep broadening your horizons. Keep trying new things so that you've always got something exciting about you to be mysterious about. Do not implicitly trust anyone. Trust is earned, not given. Respect women, but do not allow yourself to be disrespected either. Either call people, women and men, on their bullshit, or get them out of your life and laugh as you walk away. You should probably do both. If someone hurts you, milk it for the lessons and move on as best you can. If you have to grieve, then do so, but don't wallow in it. I'm starting to think the most important way to maintain a woman's interest level is by improving yourself and respecting yourself first." Improving yourself and respect yourself first. Where have we heard that before? Some guys are scared of relationships. But the point is that if you are constantly growing, constantly improving, constantly living, then you will never become boring, always remain a bit mysterious, and you will always be interesting to her. Antidump makes this point to Relapse. Quote, "As soon as she realized you really loved her, her mission was over. Women are love seekers. As long as they are looking for love in you, they will hang in there. But as soon as they find it, they are off with another dude to start the process over again. They must never be really sure as you found out. Say I love you rarely in the future. Make the women work to get you. This doesn't mean becoming passive or disinterested. It means going on with your life, and if she wants to come along, fine. But you have some ground rules. If she isn't consistent, then she is gone." Antidump's Machine. Part 4. Embrace action. Women's weak spot. Quote, "You call a minimum of 4 days. Your only calling days are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Never call Thursday through Sunday. She will have made plans for the weekend. Trips, aunts flying in, etc. This is simple. If you get a number on your calling days, call the following week. If you get a number on Thursday through Saturday, call the following week. If you get a number on Sunday, call Wednesday. Wednesday is only 3 days, but you probably won't get many numbers on that day. This is not science, it is an art. Planning your calls is good for you because it teaches you to slow down. The slower you go in dating, the easier it is to avoid the traps. You know the saying, fools rush in. The girl will wait if she truly likes you. If she gets mad, this is good. You find out who is a bitch and who is not. About getting off the phone fast, your purpose for calling is not to have a conversation. It is to set up a date. Say, "This is Anjo. We met at Joe's place. Let's do dinner on Saturday. I'll pick you up at 8 p.m. What's your address?" After you get the address, say, "That's great. See you Saturday. Good night," and hang up. You are not being rude. You are giving her a date, and she is lucky she got one from you. Why? Because you had 2 other girls to choose from. A guy told Antidump that he talked to his ex through the internet. Since we broke up so well, maybe there's a chance we'll get back together. And Antidump responded, quote, "You said she broke up with me. You were dumped. No matter what you do or say or learn, you've been put into a little file box in your head under loser. Nothing on the face of the earth can help you now, with her. You need a new girl with a blank file box. March forward, young Don Juan. Seek out new blood. The next girl will be all over you." But the guy replied, "But Antidump, she tells me to call her sometime." And Antidump thundered, quote, "You said, what about her talking to me? Computer talk is just talk. It is not a relationship. She prefers to just talk to you. She could pick up her phone at any second. She never will. Why? You were giving her all the attention she needs. Why should she call you? She can get what she wants from you every day. She knows how to have it all her way. She dumped you when she wanted. She keeps telling you to call, ordering. She thinks incorrectly. You'll do whatever she wants. You see she won't call because she's programmed by the little file box. It tells her you're willing to go along with her. A relationship has to be 50-50. A lot of women think equality means having it all their way. Wrong. Prove me wrong. Call her. Ask her out. I guarantee that she will be twice as one-sided as she was. Why? Because you have shown that you are a willing victim. You are willing to give her lots of your Don Juan time. If you want to be friends, that's alright. Just don't think she will suddenly turn into Miss Cooperation. It will never happen. She's not interested in you, the person. If she was, your phone would be exploding. She sees the new you. She talks to the new you. Is the phone ringing? She doesn't know that you've changed. You can't tell her you've changed. You can't tell her about all the things you know now. It's too late. She will always see you in the old way." But the guy asks, can the guy ever go back with such an ex? Quote, "I guess you're going to have to learn the hard way. She's baiting the trap. She can't wait to suck you back into a one-sided relationship where she has all the power. Remember the little file box? In her mind, you are a loser. As soon as you get back with, she will dump you harder than you have ever been dumped before. Why didn't she ask you to be alone with her at the movies? You were asked to come along. Second choice. Why didn't she ask you to go shopping alone with her? Because none of her friends would go with her. You are second choice again. You can't be first, my friend, with a girl that dumped you. She can only put the dog collar around your neck." What size is it, by the way? Crinster adds, quote, "As hard as this may sound, in my experience, this is absolutely true. Exes will remain exes. If you go back to them, or let them get back to you, it might work for a while and you can have some fun, but it wouldn't last. While I found that it's very easy to become best friends with your exes, no sex, it's almost impossible to have a successful relationship with them. Why? Because you already tried it and it didn't work. You can try again, but it will fail again because both of you didn't really change, and everything that was wrong is still wrong. Your best option is to learn your lesson, let her learn hers, and move on. Oh, and one more thing. If you don't really care about what's going to happen with her, then don't allow her to get any closer because you will lose control, start caring, and get hurt." Poet put out a long post detailing the DJ way. At the end, he asks, "Does anyone else have a better way to put this in less words?" Antidump replied, quote, "Yeah, I have some. Just focus on the single word, number, when you are talking to a woman. Then focus on the single word, yes, when you call to ask her for a date. You only need 2 words, poet, number and yes. This may be too simple for a brain like you. And please don't pull out any FUs. It's a joke. Forget words. Take action." Poet replies that he ought to check for high levels of interest signs first. Listen to Antidump's response. Quote, "I keep telling you that signs are unreliable and are a waste of time to look for. Women hide their true feelings. They conceal them until they are absolutely sure. That process takes months and months in a relationship. And you want them to show up before? It's never going to happen. The ugly ones do it because they are desperate. The 9s and 10s don't do it, generally speaking. You can't get into a woman's head early in the dating process. It's a sealed vault. You must strike women at their weak spot. Their weak spot is action. Men rule the action world. Women are king in communicating, but weak in action. The secret is to ask them to do things. This is their weak spot. They would rather talk all the time and discuss things. They are experts in that. You can't win unless you are the expert. And you are, in doing things. Asking for a date is the ultimate test. If a girl is interested, she will go into her weak area for you. She will do things. She will let you lead her in the action world. Women that are mediumly to low interested in you will hesitate and think about it. Signs are a form of communicating, and that's where women are king. Asking for a date is really saying, let's do some action things. You are seeing if she will leave her communicating world for you. You are under the impression that 9s and 10s will do that. Most won't. It's not a reversible process because ugly girls do that. Beautiful ones won't. The good-looking ones hide their true feelings. You must ask out the ones that show very little signs if she is someone you really want. Risk is part of the game. No risk, no reward. Anti-Dumps Machine. Part 5. Women and Information. Ego makes the nice guy. Where did you learn this information, Anti-Dump? Quote, the communication/action strategy is my own, but it is based on Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. This book is the best book ever written about relationships. Don't get married without reading it. But it is a very dangerous book if you apply it to dating. Do not apply it to dating. Why? Because you will be manipulated and used. The Mars-Venus book by John Gray can only work if you have married a highly interested woman, like Bonnie, his wife. Suppose you marry a woman that doesn't love you. Happens all the time. All the giving will be one-sided on your side. She will make excuses why she doesn't want to make love to you. By the rules of the book, you have to accept her feelings and cannot invalidate them. It's like you are taking a criminal into your house, but you can't call the police when he robs you. You accept a woman's negative feelings only if she really loves you. If you use the book for dating, you will be like Lockman. You will never have to be understanding even about her insulting you. You are a smart dude, Big Bad John. I know you get this. The book presupposes high interest, but he doesn't say that in the book. Very dangerous. About your other comments. As you said, there are many signs a woman gives. I have seen some of those TLC shows. They are great. Like in one show, they showed a tape of how some women look at a guy's shoes when they first meet. I don't doubt you are judged by some women by your shoes. As a matter of fact, I always make sure after seeing that show, my shoes are new when going out. So I'm not against signs. The greatest lesson you will ever learn as Don Juan is this. You must stop understanding women and start choosing ones that work with you and not against you. Mars-Venus doesn't tell you that it is unnecessary to understand a woman if she is highly interested in you. She will automatically do everything right. And interesting comment by Pook. Quote, very true, AD. However, I recommend that men also master their skills of communication. Yes, guys, practice your writing and verbal skills. That means writing essays well at school or uni. It's powerful because if you are stronger than them at their strongest point, then they truly revere you. Once they realize in their minds that you are better than them, then they submit to you. They will test you on it initially, but then they will simply want you. Why? Because they will feel weak and vulnerable. But with you around, they will feel protected. On another thread, Anti-Dump says, quote, he only made one mistake. He took her number. I keep trying to tell you guys when a woman initiates a date or relationship, she is not very serious. Women have a million reasons for asking you out. Very few are for romantic purposes. This guy blamed himself. That's a shame. The girl had low interest from the start. Him getting the number the easy way should have alerted him not to take it seriously. You guys have to keep your egos in place. You think you must be fantastic for her to give you her number. When a guy is fantastic, women, most, are a little afraid to make a move. They make their moves on guys that are not overpowering emotionally. If a woman thinks you are out of her league, above her, she will not ask you out. I want to add in that just because a woman has sex with you or even marries you, it does not mean she likes you. Look, why did you remain a nice guy when all reality said you were a fool? Because of your ego. Why do you continue the same errors? Your ego. The man who is invincible with women is a man who can humble himself. For women do not deceive us. Rather, women help men deceive themselves. Women and information. Why do you guys feel they must hand out information? With a first date or meeting with a girl, they flap their gums as if they were trying to sell themselves. What these guys don't realize is that they are sending out information all the time by how they talk, how they walk, what they wear, and how they act. These things women will notice. Women want to find out information. It is what they do when they meet a guy. She will already be analyzing your actions. There is no need to sell yourself with words. Quote, you tell a woman only what you want told. It's best to give her, even if you are getting married, only the tiniest info about the past. I personally believe that what happened before you met your girlfriend is none of her business. If she asks why your last relationship didn't work out, tell her you don't know. Women think guys are clueless about relationships, so there will be no problem there. If she asks how many girlfriends you had, tell her you don't count them. The trick is to give her a manly answer. Don't give her nerd answers. She doesn't know you're a sharp guy. You give her dumb answers. You play dumb. Don't worry. She will buy them. Her. Why did you get divorced? Anti-Dump. Don't know. Just happened. Her. Surely there must have been a reason. Anti-Dump. I'm not a psychologist, Tiffany. Who knows? No details are the way you do it. Women don't see men as thinkers, so your brave answers will be accepted. If she is looking for another Einstein or a college professor, get rid of her. Who wants to talk about DNA in a relationship anyway? Simple, vague answers. Nice guys, like my former self, think they have to confess. Never tell a woman anything negative about any past girlfriends. Her. What things do you dislike women doing to you? Anti-dump. Canceling dates. Her. No, seriously, what's your pet peeve about them? Anti-dump. Grabbing her and kissing her. Asking too many questions. With a big smile. When women ask me why I got divorced, I usually tell them I was very young and clueless. Then I change the subject. You must practice this art of telling only a little. Never, ever lie. Oh yeah, I also tell them I really don't remember. I know a lot of posters aren't going to like what I said here. Remember this. Concealing is not lying. The truth is always there. If she really wants to know about your past marriage, she can simply go talk to your ex-wife. Why else should you not give away information? Quote, the fact is women are ruthless with info they get with you and absolutely cannot be objective for the first month. The fact is she's going to misinterpret what you say and form bad conclusions about personal things you tell her. Go on a first date with a woman and tell her you were looking for a book about the Satanic Church and we're just curious about it. She is not going to see you, we're just curious about it. Everything you say after that will be distorted in her mind. The longer you go with a woman, the more acceptable the information is. You don't sit there stone-faced. You talk about her. She shouldn't be talking, getting personal, for the first couple of dates. See if she is ready on time. See if she is eager for the dates. See if she likes your date ideas first. Maybe she likes another guy better. Let her go with him. But if she sticks around with you being tight-lipped, then you know you have a winner. Information, in the beginning, turns women off. Action dates, swimming, bowling, etc. turn her on. Anti-dumps machine. Part 4. 3 words to change your life. Speak, anti-dump! Quote, the perfect Don Juan. He asks for a girl's phone number when he first meets her or sees her, not 1 month later. He always asks for the home phone number. He walks away if he doesn't get it. A Don Juan always waits 4 or more days before calling a girl. She must wait. A Don Juan never arranges a date face-to-face with a girl. He always calls first. She must wait and wonder about him. He sees a girl only once a week for the first 3 weeks. He has to clear his dates with other women, or pretend he is busy with other women. He says he is busy if she wants more. A Don Juan never gives flowers, cards, or gifts for the first 2 months. Her birthday is the only exception. He never talks over an hour with a woman on the phone. Ever. 20 minutes is tops. He avoids contact with her, with emails and messages, etc., between dates. He calls once to arrange the next date. During the first 3 months, he tells her nothing about himself. She has to ask. When he asked, he gives only tiny itty-bitty pieces. He waits for her to say, I love you first. Then he knows she really means it. A Don Juan never says, I love you, before 2 months. Ever. A Don Juan never proposes before 6 months. He prefers to wait 1 year. All minor flaws must be seen. A Don Juan never lives with a woman. He is a free man. He will marry the best when he meets her. A Don Juan only focuses on the romantic side of a woman. He knows long talks lead to friendship, not love. He knows being a mystery fascinates her and makes her wonder and want him. And lastly, a true Don Juan makes sure the relationship is 50-50. Half the time, she's doing what he wants to do. He feels this in his stomach, not head. In fact, the man is proud of his own accomplishments. Quote, but it also means you can't brag. Guess what? Women love that. She, what kind of car do you have? You, it's foreign. She, who makes it? You, it's a 2-door. She, what's the darn name? You, alright, sure ask a lot of questions. It's a Porsche. She, impressed. Oh. How else does a guy weed out uninterested chicks? When I ask a girl for a number, I know instantly, right then, if she is interested. When you give a girl your number, you will be waiting around for days or weeks to find out if she is interested. Why on earth would you want to wait around for a call? I find out right away. I have never given out my number, but research I have done says this. Very, very few women call you back this way. Why would you wait to see if she is interested, when you could find out instantly? If you give a girl your number, you are waiting for her answer. You are only fooling yourself by saying you don't care if she calls. That's bold. That is a passive approach anyway. Women prefer a direct approach. Even if a guy is confident, women will see you as passive and afraid to ask for her the number. Very few men say, what's your number? Right out like that. That's what they like. That's a turn on. Not, call me, honey. A woman will think she isn't very attracted that way. This gal said she would forget about a guy if he waited 7 days to call her. Most women only give out their home phone numbers to the guys that are very interesting to them. They will remember you, so don't believe her. However, some women, this gal, do give out dozens of numbers and forget the names of the guys that call. Here's what you do. Anti-dump. Hi, Disgal, this is Anti-dump. Disgal. Anti-dump who? Anti-dump. Sorry, I must have the wrong number. Hang up. If she forgets, hang up and move on. The purpose of the above guidelines is not to get jerked around. Only a woman that is really interested in you will go out with you. You hope they forget. That shows low interest. Better to get out early than to have her cheat later in the relationship. If you follow the above, like Thomas Zeus said, some good ones will get away. But you will almost never get burned. But what if the girl gives you a fake number? Quote, what about the fake number? Does that mean the number is unreliable for interest? No. You never ask a woman for her number after more than 30 minutes after talking to her. The shorter time, the better. The guys that get the fake numbers are pests that hang around too long. She doesn't have to know you at all for you to ask for the number. The date is where she learns about you and judges you. You talk for just a little while, then ask. Then you leave wherever you are. You are a man of mystery, not a big mouth and pest. Now, who do you apply Anti-dump's machine to? When you find that awesome girl, do you just disregard it? Quote, never give an inch. It doesn't matter if she's 18 or 80. It doesn't matter if she's Miss America or a 1. You put all those women through the same dating tips and tactics. It doesn't matter if she likes rock climbing or is in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter if she's from Brazil or Canada. You still make them wait 5 days before you call. You don't buy gifts. You keep your personal information to yourself. You don't go north with one girl and south with another. You don't go up with this one and down with that one. In the Army, all the recruits are as different as night and day. But the Army and basic training makes them climb every obstacle in the path. Nothing is changed for an individual. They either make it or they have to drop out. You follow the same procedure time and time again with all women. This will almost guarantee you success finding an interested woman because it is like having a love machine. Just push a button and there she is. Well, there's more work than that, but you get the picture. You are now on the road to the one. But most guys get hung up on other things than closing. Quote, 3 little words. Forget crazy pickup lines, forget fancy approaches, forget massive confidence, forget cool clothes, forget her confusing glances, forget 2-hour convos. Turn your life around by asking her, what's your number? Forget colognes, forget the lay guide, forget Ross Jeffries, forget negging, forget hair gel, forget fast cars. Turn your life around by asking her, what's your number? Forget Anti-dump, forget Pook, forget alpha males, forget So Suave, forget dating books, forget Destiny. Turn your life around by asking her, what's your number? Total happiness is waiting for you, but you must say the 3 little words to her. First, introduce yourself, then a little talking, then, what's your number? And go home. Mission accomplished. We are not women. We need to stop acting like flowers and stop focusing on attraction. You don't have to hang yourself like a damn fool. Quote, after you are with a woman over 5 years, then you can tell her anything you want. I served 5 to 10 for armed robbery. Her, is that because your father was sick and almost lost his house? You, yes, I wanted you to see the real me first. I'm sorry, but I didn't want to lose you. You've kept me on the straight and narrow. Her, I love you. The end! Haha, another reason why the girl at the end loves her armed robbery husband is because you said, you have kept me on the straight and narrow. He boosted her perception of her femininity. Quote, one way is to make sure you talk to her in person most of the time. Keep phone talk under an hour. Rarely talk on the phone. She has to see you in person or she will be without you. You limit the phone and stop emails and limit messages. She will want you more. Her interest will rise and stay high. She will wonder where you are and what you are doing. Another way is not to give her any flowers, cards, or gifts for the first 2 months, but you must kiss her and show her affection at the same time. This will cause her to wonder about you. You are loving, yet buying nothing. Most guys give gifts and flowers. She will be very curious about this. She will think your love is genuine because you are not trying to buy her love. But the main thing is to tell her nothing about yourself. If she asks a personal question, just answer very vaguely. Use one-word answers. This is only about you. Don't talk like that. Her, what do you like to do? You, lots of things. Her, what do you think about girls who wear tight clothes? You, sometimes I look, sometimes I don't. Then ask her questions back to take the focus off you. Just don't tell her too much about your personal viewpoint too fast. Have fun for the first 2 months. If she is still around in 8 weeks, then you can tell her more about yourself. The whole idea is that she should just like to be with you regardless of your opinions. She should like your style, not your feelings in the first 2 months. Your feelings are none of her business until she knows she likes your style first. I always wondered, shouldn't I tell the good things about myself? But Anti-dump, of course, is correct. This is a machine of weeding out girls. It is basically like an auction. Ladies, a position for Pook wife has just been opened. Now I can't just grab any chick to fill in for Pook wife. She must be the right chick, a pookish chick. So I go about my life, and when a girl catches my eye, the filtering begins. She knows what I want. They always know. Interested girls will give me their number and go out with me. Now, on the date, I do not go about telling her about Pook, even if it is sensationally good. Why? Because I am the object of focus. I basically interview her. Sure, you say things back to her in a conversation way, but you want to know something about women? They love mystery. And you know what? They love figuring you out. They love peeling the layers of yourself, seeing what jewels are inside. Yes, you could tell her your good points, and her interest level might go up a few. But if she finds the good stuff on her own, then the good points go up a quadzillion times. But Pook, whatever do you mean by this? Women like to find great guys. They love diamonds in the rough. They scrub off that rough exterior to find pure treasure. She is overwhelmed, and this is when she usually falls in love with you. Now compare that to the shiny diamond. Well, the shiny diamond guy is great and all, but there is no mystery, no sense of discovery. The diamond guy is ruining her feminine mission. Thus, he becomes boring. This is why when you are great and know, you let the women find out. They will find out. Think of a really hot guy. Does the really hot guy go around saying, "Hi, I am a really hot guy"? No! Women hate guys like that. Women have a finer eye than we do. They will notice your good points, and there's no need to declare them. Anti-Dump's Machine. Part 7. Become a mystery. Check this out. Quote, you try to disclose as little info about you as possible. You do this by giving very general and vague answers, short and sweet. Then you turn the convo back to her. Her. Do first dates make you nervous? You. Once in a great while. How about you? Her. What kind of degree do you have? You. A hard-earned one. And you? Did you go to college? You are only vague about personal info, but you still carry a conversation and talk all you want. Talk all night, just not about you. You should be acting like you were on America's Most Wanted. If you tell her too much, she will run. The less they know, the more they want to know. Terminator 911. The secret is to talk about physical objects and stay away from subjective subjects. Talk about music, food, anything but you. Generalizing becomes very important. The women will already be analyzing your behavior, your tone, your clothes, and such. What law is there that says you must give the woman the details she wants? Quote, just generalize all answers about you. Her. What was the best experience of your life? You. It was a trip to Africa. It was fun. And you? Her. Tell me about Africa. You. One night I almost got eaten by a lion. Only tell stories that are true. Notice how my answers were about things and not about ideas and feelings. That gets you into trouble. Ideally, a woman shouldn't know much about how you feel about things. This makes them very curious about you. If she asks, what do you do? Always go for the general term. I'm in computers. And you? What do you do? Her. Where do you live in Houston? You. On the south side. So didn't Anti-Dump suggest action dates at the beginning? Quote, I really said the conversation about you kills the mystery, but too much convo usually leads to too much personal disclosure, hence the action dates. They are your insurance against your big mouth. Once they know all about you, they get bored. You must reveal yourself slowly over many dates and as long as possible. Years even. Some guys are going to have problems with the above. The point is that your mate is not supposed to be Oprah. You are not to tell her about your entire life. Let her find out on her own, because then she will be genuinely curious. Anti-Dump kept emphasizing that you should talk about things. Quote, like I said above, talk about anything you see and do on the dates. Look at the size of that guy. I've never seen a 7-footer before. Isn't that different? People try to be so serious so soon. Keep it light and fun. Quote, you really shouldn't be getting so personal early on. You should be watching to see if she cancels dates. Do you feel right with her? Is she rude when she can't have her way to others? Does she have a temper? I suggest staying on the surface for a few dates. You may hate the way she orders food. Why find out her disappointments in life if it turns out you hate the way she talks? On one of my dates, this great-looking woman, my age, seemed to be talking funny. I didn't notice that in the club we met. You create mystery when you know more about her than she knows about you. Women claim they want to know everything about you, but if they find out too soon, they leave. It's their curiosity that drives them toward love. Be like a miniseries on TV. Don't let them ever know the ending. Flirting and creating interest. On the internet, some males advocate a male flirting. However, they do not call it flirting. They call it creating interest. They even think they are controlling the girl by doing this. Girls also believe they don't exactly flirt. They just create interest, and many of them think they control the guy. We know they're wrong. So why is there so much hostility that guys running around trying to create interest might be flawed too? Because it shatters their sense of control. With seduction, to become a physical dildo to her, you must become her emotional dildo. After all, she still has no true interest in you. This is the Ross Jeffries way. Listen to what Antidump says on flirting or creating interest. Quote, "Flirting was invented by women as an attention-seeking device. Society tells women that it is improper to ask a man out, so women flirt to get your attention and let you know, non-verbally, of their romantic interest in you. It is not necessary for a man to flirt. He doesn't have to telegraph his romantic interest. That's because he does the asking out. Men are very confused in this area. Flirting is for women. You telegraph your romantic interest in a woman by asking for her home phone number. That is the male flirting, so to speak." Antidump was one that didn't believe in Kino. There's a post by me in the Hall of Fame about Kino. I never do Kino at first now. Kino is perfect for the nice guy because it turns him into a sexual being. It is bad for Pook now because women already see Pook as a sexual being. By Kinoing them, I just display too much interest. Girls will take it almost as desperation. This sexy as sin guy had to touch me. I've got him. Quote, "When you ask for the number, she will automatically know you are interested in her romantically. If you don't ask, you are in danger of falling in the friend zone. That's because you didn't flirt by asking for the number. You didn't let her know your true feelings, to ask her out. So just have a simple, lively, non-flirting conversation and then ask the girl for the number as soon as possible. The same applies as far as dates go. Each call for a date telegraphs to her that you are very interested. Or else, why did you ask her out? Because you are very interested. You just don't put it into words. At the end of each date, I usually say something like, 'I had a great time jet skiing.' I look directly into her eyes. She knows you are talking about her. You give indirect indicators of you liking her. You kiss her passionately. At times, you hold her passionately. Never tell her how you feel in words during the first 2 months. Try waiting until the 3rd month. That would be much, much better. You never try to create romantic interest. Big mistake. She has to already be interested. You don't have to impress her. She should already be impressed by you. Or else why did she accept the date? Not to kill a boring night, I hope. You don't create interest. It has to be there or you drop her and start again. When a man flirts, it works against him. He is telegraphing too much romantic interest. Much too much. At workplaces and classes, there are many guys that flirt around. Why? Because it is risk-free. They do not get shot down and every woman loves having a guy flirt with her. It gives her attention. When I am interested in a girl, I ask them out. This creates a response in the girl that you'll never get by flirting with her. If you flirt hard enough, she thinks you're going to ask her out. When you don't, watch out. She will despise you. Most guys here are making it harder than it actually is. You don't have to become some mythical alpha male. You don't need to play a psychological chess with them. You don't have to have society in awe of you. You just have to simply go ask them out. Instead of facing the simple fact, we spit out and regurgitate alpha male manifestos, treatises on women and society, and so on. The challenge is not you versus the women. It is not you versus the world. It is always you versus you. The only roadblock to make your dreams become reality is within you. Correct yourself and the world gets corrected. Antidump's Machine. Part 8. Approaching Women. Approaching the women. This differs for everyone. Here's how Antidump did it. Quote, "I always approach women by giving unsolicited advice. Ever have someone make a comment and you didn't ask for advice? Annoying, isn't it? But it works with women. The advice must be positive and you are supporting the woman's choice. Suppose she's looking at a coat. I would approach and say, 'That coat will definitely keep you warm this winter.' She would then turn and look at me and make a comment back. Then you ask for her name. You are not saying, 'That looks good on you.' It's not flattery. It has to be practical advice, like a better shoe polish. An hour ago, a woman in a supermarket parking lot was loading groceries into her trunk as I was walking past. She was starting to reach under the cart to get the groceries. I almost said, 'Yeah, don't forget those. Did you ever forget stuff down there? What a pain, huh? What's your name?' Give positive advice that helps the women. It must be real and sincere. Sometimes you should take the red bus. It will get you to London in half an hour faster. What's your name? Excuse me, you should definitely put some air in that tire. You'll get a flat soon. What's your name? Asking for her name will signal her you are in romantic mode. She has to know your intentions. Then she will either talk or reject, low interest, you. The best places to use this are in social gatherings or fairs and events, where there are lots of people. My examples are for the street only to show that it can be done anywhere if necessary. I gave you the hardest places. Then, you ask for the home phone number. The actual conversation you carry on before the number is something you have to invent yourself. I can't tell you that. It has to fit your style. The first date should be a fun or action date. I say, Let's do comedy. It's not action, but it's certainly fun. The idea is not to have a discussion. Swimming is good in the summer. I have a rowboat. Hey Ginger, let's take my boat out Saturday. I'll bring it by at 4 o'clock. You. Miss Perfect, let's rent a boat on Sunday. I'll come over at 1 p.m. No car. She doesn't want to be bored by your stupid ideas. You know what I mean. Bore her after she falls in love with you. Talk about things you see. Look at the size of that dog. Or, come on, I want to buy my little brother a balloon. But it has to be the truth. Never lie. The next 3 dates should be like bowling, miniature golf, indoor rock climbing, credit Obidex, fencing, credit Cecil, etc. After the date, take her right home. Do it smoothly and like you're still interested in her. No kiss on the first date. You only kiss her if you think she had a bad time with you. It's a test. Sometimes she may look like she had a bad time but didn't. So you kiss her to see if she pulls away or gives you the cheek to kiss. If she had a great time, never kiss. It makes her hope you will kiss her next time. Or she has to give you a second date to get one. Never discuss the second date with her. Always call. Never discuss the first date. Let's get together sometime. Want to go to dinner? Never say that. Ask for the number. Then tell her what it is when you call. About sex. I always go as long as I can stand it. The longer the better. I want them to want it when I make my move. This is true. One woman pushed me into her bedroom and knocked me down on her bed. She couldn't stand the weight. Another woman snarled, "Are we going to do it or what?" It's great when they want it. You look for the signs. I use heavy touching for about a month. They let you know when they are ready. All women must give me an AIDS test result. No exceptions. As you can see, there's no sexual harassment here. None of my advice forces a woman to do anything she doesn't want to do. If I don't get her home phone number, I walk away. And so should you. This is Anti-Dump's machine in a nutshell. I like how Anti-Dump doesn't give them the kiss or the sex. This definitely drives them nuts. Quote, no flowers, cards, or gifts for about 3 months. The fun times will make up for that. The nice guy routine is over. After she tells you she loves you, then buy her some flowers. But don't overdo it. DZ asks about the first date. Anti-Dump responded, just do stuff that doesn't cost anything. You live in Canada. Wanda, let's go ice skating on Friday. I'll be over to get you at 7 p.m. I'm sure there are free or $2 ice rinks you could go to. I know it's summer. Hehehe. What about swimming? What about volleyball? Let's play volleyball. I'll be over at... Okay, these are probably not cool things to do, but I warned you I am older. Boy, am I older than you. Find cool things to do. Any hip-hop bands that give free concerts in your area? Let's go see Eminem. He's doing a free benefit in Toronto. My parents will drive us. Let's meet for coffee, and you will tell her everything she hates. You. So, I like Eminem. He's cool. Her. How could you like a disgusting person like that? That's what you like? I'm out of here. But don't women like men who are creative? Shouldn't we do what women want? Quote, whenever you hear yourself saying, women like creativity, or women like, stick your finger in a light socket. You have it reversed. You should be saying to her, I like skiing, do you? I like bowling, do you? You don't give a girl what she wants. You find a girl that likes what you want. Later you ask what she likes after she accepts you first. Never cook a dinner for a woman unless you are engaged to be married, and the ring is on her finger. She has to be taken out of circulation. Imagine doing that, and then next week you see her with Stan the man. Use your creative mind to find ways for the girls to like what you want to do. Otherwise, you are building a road to dump zone hell. Hope I haven't ruffled your feathers. I used to do all that stuff, buddy. Here's a tip. Women don't give a damn about all that. All they want is a guy they can count on when their car breaks down in a dark road. Or the guy that will listen, not talk, when disaster strikes their life. A man of action, a rock. A man that can be there. Think about it. Now I'm going to quote Visago. He will be infuriated that I'm quoting him in this anti-dump thread, which is reason enough to do it. Quote, personally, I think the player has a better chance of finding a long-term relationship. He meets more women so he has more options to choose from. He has more games so he can get the one he wants. And most importantly, he doesn't come from a place of need. I know that when I was hooking up with a lot of women, I always had long-term relationship options, but when I decided to settle down and find someone special, everything seemed to dry out. I have met all of my past loves at times when the last thing on my mind was a girlfriend. Women can smell neediness a mile away. I think that is the biggest factor. Of course, there is also social proof, the challenge of taming a bad boy, the primal attraction to a dangerous man, etc. That all adds to the attraction. But at the same time, if you go over the edge and become too much of a male slut, it will come back to haunt you. I have noticed that the guys who get the highest quality women are those guys who you can't really put into a category. Guys who have one woman all the time, and that one woman changes every couple of months until they find one that they can totally connect with. They always treat these women well, but they don't settle for anything less than the best. These are the real players. You'll never know it by talking to them, but you will hear women talk about them because they are dying to be next in line. This fits perfectly with Anti-Dump's machine. You first need to figure out what you want and not come at a girl from a position of need. A guy who puts every facet of his life into chasing sex is pathetic. But the guy going through chicks to find the one that he wants, that is the way. I don't consider that to be a player, but if it is, then I'm certainly a player. Improving yourself makes everything easier, but you still have to be social and go out and meet all the chicks. They want to meet you, so give them that opportunity. The seduction material is only good to get you outside, since that is where the girls are, and blasting your old social barriers. It is very limited and shouldn't be taken seriously, or the worst, taken as a life philosophy. The good of the PUA is how he can meet many chicks. This is Visago's point, but this is also a core element of Anti-Dump's machine. You will probably go through as many or even more than a PUA. The difference is that the PUA is trying to sex a girl while the machine is trying to see if she fits into your world. It is a huge difference. Anti-Dump's machine. Part 9. Always be prepared. I started out as a super nerd. I'm more of a thinky person, so social things take a bit more effort out of me. But if you want to succeed, you always need a plan. Always take the opportunity. Always have fun things to do, so you don't have to plan them after you meet the girl. Always carry paper and pencil to write down phone numbers, or put it into your cell phone. This will remind you to get numbers, to get dates. But what if the woman thinks you are too prepared? There is no such thing as being too prepared when it comes to women. This will be seen as a plus, as Anti-Dump explains. Quote, you want to look prepared. You are silently telling her you ask girls for numbers. Women are not men. They don't think like we do. Pook note, understatement of the century. Women only want a guy when other girls want him. They want a guy who is in demand. They are not jealous of other girls. She will assume you are successful. If you weren't, you wouldn't be carrying it. They know men don't do things for nothing. Women who know you might be seeing others are less likely to play games. If they like you, women are afraid to take chances of losing you. They know if they say, I'm busy, too many times, you will call someone else. Only two types of women will not like you carrying a pencil for numbers. 1. A deeply insecure woman with emotional problems. She cannot stand the thought of competing with others. 2. A control freak or manipulator. This kind wants to have it all her way. She is a 90-10 taker in relationships. She is stubborn and inflexible. Normal women will be surprised. Since most guys are not prepared, she will wonder what other things, you are good at. But Mr. Anti-Dump, is the number asking too much? Isn't that giving women all the power? Isn't she now in control? Quote, this is why nice guys give up their 50% in a relationship. The guy is in control. The guy asks for your number. If he doesn't ask, nothing happens. That's control. The guy keeps you waiting with you not knowing if he will call ever. Then he asks you, let's do dinner. The date itself is his idea. The person taking action is the one in control. And if you don't seem interested, he drops you. Many men aren't aggressive in relationships because they erroneously think the woman does the choosing. It is not just asking for the number. It is taking action. Never doubt this. You are always in control when you take action. The what-ifs. What if there are women who are in love with you but are undateable? Quote, 10% of the time you will meet an undateable woman. This doesn't happen that often, but you should watch out for this kind of woman. This is a woman who shows all kinds of interest in you, calls you, does a lot of kino on you, is very happy to see you, etc. You know in your gut that she is not a friend, and you are definitely not in the friend zone. You just know she thinks you are great and is highly interested. But somehow, she always has a valid excuse for not giving you a date. A real, live, valid reason. She is genuinely busy, with her daughter and family, a flight to Florida for vacation, or she is a doctor with an impossible schedule, or she is involved in many social activities. Or maybe she is like wicked shy, or thinks you are just too good for her, but she still shows up and gives you a warm greeting. But like I said, you are not getting a date, or the dating is irregular and random. One more example. Her gym night is on Saturday night, your favorite night to go out, so she asks for another night to date you. Remember, she really likes you, and she is a 10, but you don't want to go out on another night. Saturday night is date night for most people, so you are not in the wrong. These women, although they have high interest, are undateable. It kills to drop them, but you must. We men have never had it our way, and it is certainly difficult to drop these kind of interested women, but you have to have it your way, like Burger King. Hold the pickles and lettuce, lady. If you want to be happy, you have to dump them early on. I mean like fast. If you like a crazy dating pattern, more power to you, but don't hesitate to get rid of a woman like the above. You are not being selfish. It is your damn life and you will live it the way you, as a man, see fit. Right or wrong, it's got to be your way, because you will never be happy anywhere else. But anti-dump, so wonderful and wise. What if the girl's actually interested, giving all the signs of interest, but is too shy to date? Oh yes, this happens all the time. An extremely shy girl is crazy about you, but puts off giving you a date. Read all posts by days. Or she is a girl that uses speech the wrong way. She means something else when she talks and her words are taken wrong by you. The answer is simple. She loses you. My approach is based on what the majority of women do. Most women use words correctly, and most women are not shy. They are average. But like Delvar said, there are always women who are exceptions. But you never make an exception. This keeps the users and heartbreakers and cheaters and psychos out of your life. Not bad, huh? Of course, you will be wrong sometimes, but you gain the advantage of less pain and more money in your pockets. Face it, women are very, very picky. Now it's your turn. This is fun, huh? Indeed. But what if the woman is using strategies of her own? What if she read a girly magazine to pretend to be disinterested? Quote, if a woman uses The Rules by Ellen Fain, or Playing to Hard to Get, or is following any kind of planned strategy, she loses. The reason is simple. For a strategy to work, one of the sexes can't be using a strategy. Read this again. One side has to be defenseless for the strategy side to win. Read this also again. A man who is a nice guy will call a woman repeatedly because in the rules, she won't return a man's calls. In other words, the guy has to beg for a date. Real men don't beg. Begging is impossible with my strategy because of the 2-call limit. You are not defenseless. If the male and the female are both using a strategy, like in chess, you have a stalemate. Both of you lose the game. The answer is simple. Date only women who have no plan. Here's the great part. Women dislike strategies. As soon as they meet a guy they have high interest in, they are the first to break the rules. This is why you should never make an exception. The women will be the first to compromise. A little. But is not your machine going too far? Your machine assumes that the woman knows what she is doing and is executing her plan against you. What if this is not the case? Quote, your heart will still be protected. I feel, and it is my opinion, that it's better to be wrong about someone than to get repeatedly hurt over and over. Judges send innocent people to jail for life sentences. It happens. In love, you must be a little hard. Soft doesn't work. Look, crackhead, you don't have to use any of this stuff. Just have it for a backup when women begin to make you miserable. That's all I ask. Like karate, you aren't defenseless now. Anti-Dump's Machine. Part 10. After the dates. After the first date. But anti-dump, what guidelines does your machine operate after the first date? Quote, hi Pook, you asked what the guidelines are after the first date. You end the first date and all others for the first 2 months the same way. You don't talk about the next date. You call for it. Just like when you ask for the number, you don't mention a date. The reason you don't talk about the next date is because you don't need one. You are not needy. Women really like a man that can live without sex. There's no such thing, but in a woman's head there is. You may need it bad, but when you leave her and don't mention a date, she thinks you are one cool dude. You say something like, I really enjoyed the rollerblading tonight. We'll talk soon. Never say, I'll call you. They must feel you might not call. Predictable guys get washed out. If they are not worried you might not call, they are not interested. That's a fact. You always wait 2 or 3 days to call for the next date. Never the next day. That's a guy that has no self-control. Real men are busy and don't have time for the silly romance. Now, I love romance, but I keep it hidden until a woman has shown that she's going to stick around. Only interested women get your romantic moves. When? After 2 months. Most new relationships end by 8 weeks. If she's still around after 2 months, then you relax the rules a little. You can tell her you will call her, etc. You can see a girl more than once a week after a month, but make sure she is really interested and not using you just for dates. Try to see a girl once a week for the first 3 weeks. Suppose a girl calls you during the 3rd week of dating and asks to see you for a date. That's okay because she can't be away from you. She wants you. Just don't be too available in the first month. It's all a test of interest. You see, Pook, you aren't supposed to be making it all work. She has to be doing that by saying yes to dates. She has to do all the work. The shoe is on the other foot now. The woman has to do everything right or there will be no relationship. You have taken control of your life. You are not at the mercy of women any longer. Many women will flunk the test. Always remember, Pook, they flunk because they are not good enough for you. This is how you protect your heart. Pook note. No, I didn't add the Pook in the above. Anti-Dump was responding to me. But Anti-Dump, what do you say when the girl says the 3 words, I love you? Quote, I would just say, that's wonderful, and then kiss her. If asked how I felt, I would say, keep going with me and find out. She will be mad, but will be dying to find out. Never tell a woman how you feel under 2 months. No matter even if she says how she feels. Most new relationships break up in 8 weeks. You must see if she will be around after the 2nd month. Remember, you may want to dump her before 8 weeks. You can't say, I love you, then break up with her when you discover something you don't want. Wait and be sure. After the 2-month mark. The girl needs to follow your date ideas for the first couple of months. After that, things change with Antidump's machine. Here's something I thought he said was surprising. Quote, ask her what she wants to do for the next date. You are past the point where you are watching to see if she goes along with your ideas. She passed the test. You know she is flexible. You know you can start being mutual. Don't worry, she will not change. About once a month, ask her if there's anything she wants to do. Here's the secret. Whatever she wants to do, no matter how much you hate it, say yes. If you get choosy, she will not give you any more ideas. She will resent you and hold it inside. Not good. Women are not men. If you ask, you are stuck with the choice. But she will love you for it. Make yourself like it and smile. This is a relationship, not a one-way street. In the first month, you have to be strict. You want to find the right girl. After 2 months, you relax the rules a little. Never ask to be exclusive. Why would you do that? She is winning you, right? Quote, becoming exclusive with a woman means the both of you talk about not dating or seeing anyone else. The dating with others comes to an end. Never ask a woman to become exclusive. She must ask you. She must talk about it first. Why? If a woman hasn't asked you yet, it means she is still open to seeing others. She still has doubts about you. Highly interested women don't want you going out with other women. A woman asking for exclusivity is like a marriage proposal. She is cementing and laying the foundation for true intimacy. She wants something that's lasting. It is the ultimate test of interest, guys. She is proposing. If you ask first, you will never know her true interest level. Why didn't she bring it up? How come she is still letting you see others? Why is she closing her options? Is she seeing someone else? Think about it. But Antidump, what if the guy already just asked the exclusive question? Quote, did she say, I was wondering about that too? Or, I'm glad you brought this up. I used to mention it first myself. One girl said that she wanted to know about that. Did she act relieved? Did she act like you defused a bomb? A woman can like a guy a rather small amount and agree. Relationships are built on action, not words. She has to ask, matey. Then you know for sure. Good luck next time. Just keep it in the back of your mind. Don Juan Pledge of Honor. Notice how Antidump's focus is not sex and not just getting a girl. His focus is getting an interested chick. Quote, the Don Juan Pledge of Honor. Gentlemen, let us say it together. Pook holds up his hand. Quote, I am a Don Juan. I promise on my honor I will never call a girl in less than 4 days. I assure my fellow Don Juans I will always faithfully ask for the number and will never walk away from a girl without it. I will always be loyal to the law of interest. I will make sure she is really interested. She will give me a decisive yes when I ask her out. I will accept no less from her. I promise with the greatest sincerity I will never go back with an ex, no matter how much she begs me. I will accept full responsibility for getting myself in the friend zone because I talked too much on the phone and waited 7 months to ask her out. I pledge to never reveal the true me for the first 2 months and give her only bits and pieces about myself. The law of mystery forbids it. I am a Don Juan. I do not stay in bad relationships. I do not date women who give me a lot of trouble. I am a Don Juan. That's why I am happy. Gentlemen, this concludes this series of Antidump's Machine. There are many posts here, and most are written by high schoolers or guys in college. Antidump came from a divorced marriage. Antidump's Machine is not to lead you to sex, not to lead you to a token girl so you can make your friends jealous by saying, I have a girlfriend. I've been on this forum for many years, and Antidump's Machine is the only one I know that leads to love. But remember, Antidump's Machine is a weeding out process. The more fuel you give the machine, the more results you will get. The more women you approach and date, the more jewels that would be filtered out. Give your woman the gift of yourself, the gift of Don Juan. If she finds out you sampled no other women but her, she will be angry. She wants to be chosen out of many. She wants to be special. So instead of thinking, how do I get a chick? Or, how do I get this chick? Think, what do I need to do in my life so I can go through many, many chicks? No girlfriend for you until you go through many girls. After all, how can you know what you like about a girl if you haven't been through several of them? Antidump's Machine works. Now go out there and rule the chicks. Addendum. I kept this last Antidump Machine post so I could keep it testing out the machine and add some observations. The hardest part of the machine is that you will lose many girls who would be willing to make out with you and get physical. But the catch is that these girls only wanted you for that purpose anyway. As one lady friend said to me, if a girl doesn't go out with a guy again, Just because he doesn't kiss her at the first date, she isn't worth going out with again. The machine is suited for only those who look to satisfy their love, not lust. If you've noticed, Antidump's machine pushes sex far, far back from his filtering process. From my own experience, there is good reason for this. The purpose of the machine is to find a girl who likes you for you. The problem with sex is that it confuses the woman, and she thinks that you two are really bonding with sex, when in fact you aren't. You can easily get a woman into a relationship with you by going heavy on the eroticism, but does she really like you or not? The machine doesn't work so well with younger girls of age 23 and down because they're interested purely in their eroticism and making you a trophy to show to their girlfriends. Oh, you must meet all my girlfriends. One thing I might disagree with Antidump is the use of dinner for an early date. Antidump says, do not have dinner. It is boring and you will tell too much information about yourself, destroying the mystery. This is true. However, dinners with Pook are very interesting because all I talk about her is her. When she asks me something, I'll say something and turn the conversation back on her. This tells me everything I need to know about her, her interests, her ideas on life. Antidump would say, why do I need to hear about her life if I don't like the way she acts? Most women just let things happen to them and don't have much of an idea of life. Besides, if you look on the front page of So Suave, you will find the women describing the perfect first date as dinner with the guy asking them out. The machine, I believe, has two patterns in it that must be embraced for it to be successful. The first is simple. Filter out the women and find the ones that like you. Rather than trying to fit what she wants, you find a girl that likes what you like. The topic has already been covered quite enough, however. The second, much more critical, is that the machine will sort the wheat from the chaff and deliver you quality girls. However, in order to have quality girls, you must put in quantity. You must kiss many frogs. How many? A lot. When you buy a car, do you get the first one you see? No. You shop around. If you buy real estate, do you go and look at only 2 or 3? No. You look at a lot. So when you're looking for a wife or girlfriend, do you get lazy and go for the nearest one? 100 to 10 to 3 to 1. This is a well-rounded number. 100 means the number of girls you must approach and talk to. They must all be single, to your knowledge, and you must be physically interested in them. Yes, go through 100 of them. It could be a quick conversation, or it could be you getting their numbers. The machine works best with larger numbers. The 10 stands for the girls that will date you. The 3 stands for how many girls that you dated will be buying you. And the 1 stands for the one you end up with. The point of this is to keep it all in perspective. Approach many girls. People think 2 or 3 is many. That's why I put down some numbers. What it should be apparent is that getting a girl is a shopping process. Antidump says, you buy a relationship, you do not build one. This will also pop the bubble of many guys' concept of love, but remember, women think like this. They go shopping for guys all along. Why shouldn't you? You do not want to marry a toad. Therefore, you need to kiss many frogs to find the girl of your dreams. And she will be the girl of your dreams because she fits you. The odds can be lessened if you consider what are the most important qualities you're looking for, say a particular religion, and you hunt for them there, at a church group. One trend I see is many people hooking up with the people at their jobs or someone in their classroom. This is sad. They are placing their relationship primarily on physical proximity rather than their internal selves and what both want. Women tend to do this the most, and guys just react to them. It is your world now. The shoe is now on the other foot. If she doesn't treat you like a king, then you kick that princess out of romance kingdom. Girls always wonder who their husbands will be, who they will end up with. All the ladies out there are waiting for you to pick them. Go get them, Don Juan.